Good morning, everyone. Today we have a great little segment. We have Jan Bernhard of Pronatur down in Peru. Jan is really special to me. He is a mentor, he is a dear friend, and he's one of Aficionado's oldest coffee producers. So for those of you that are following us today or whenever, the cool thing about today's segment is Jan is going to talk about all things agriculture, tropical fruits. So we're going to go beyond coffee today. It should be a really awesome segment. Looking forward to it. Let's bring him on. Hey, Jan. How's it going?
Hello, Adam. How are you?
Thanks for connecting with us today. I see you're on the farm. So how did you get your start in agriculture? Tell us about a little bit about your upbringing and how you made your roots. I know you have a Swiss background, but tell everybody like how you got to Peru and then from Switzerland and then how you got into agriculture.
Well, I came here in the end of the 60s. At age 1, my parents came over to Peru. My father was working for Nestle, a Nestle company, and coffee and cocoa and dairy products. So my family came over here in the late 60s, and I was a 1-year-old. And since then, I'm here. And this is my farm here. You can see that mountain in the back there. That's where I live, and one of the places I live. And this is the northern coast of Peru. And I started. I went to Europe age 15 to Switzerland and came back age 22, 22, 23, and I started my own small company with coffee and green coffee. Processing and exports and then growing and just continued on our small family farm. By then, that was in the early 90s, 1991, 92. And I restarted what was left over of that small family farm into certifying organic, which was run organically and biodynamically anyways, since my father started this end of the 70s. When he left Nestle, and I just continued. Since then, we are into organic agriculture. We continue doing all this work and expanded, bought some other farms, and created a co-op around this farm here, which is a co-op in the size of 100 farmers, fruit farmers, and another co-op up the mountain, which is close from here, which you have visited with me, Adam. That goes up the slopes here, up the Andes, which is in the other direction from this gorgeous mountain here, which is actually over there in the back somewhere. And well, that's against the sun, you can't see that, but you go up the mountain over there, that goes steep up quickly up to 3,000 meters, so 10,000 feet or 12,000 feet. That's where we created this coffee grower community, a co-op, which is in the heart of that community, which you know, Adam. And so we are the fruit farmers here and the coffee farmers up there, those two co-ops. There's more than 1,000 farmers, coffee small farmers up there, and more than 100 something fruit farmers down here. And it's all family farm based and community development. We grow, we process, we prepare our produce or our coffee beans for the roaster or our fruit for the retailer. And that goes to Europe, to Germany, Switzerland mainly, and to the US. So that's our story. And I'm just a farmer, and I'm on the administration of this company.
So at Aficionado, we typically tend to work with some of the larger producers, and that kind of confuses a lot of our clients because they say, why not go and work for the small farmers? But we do, and we just utilize the resources of Jan and his expertise to gain access to the best of the best coffee. And so those not familiar with Peruvian coffee, the majority of coffee in Peru comes from the south of the country, and up in your region around Motope and further north up the mountains, it's very niche areas that grow coffee, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Most of the coffee comes from the center region of Peru or the eastern side of the country, which is behind the Andes, more towards the Amazon, where it rains more, and those Amazon slopes get plenty of rain, and that's the right altitude for growing coffee. But not so high actually. Now on this side, on the western side of the Andes, up in the north of Peru, we have a very unique subtropical climate. We are very close to the equator, but we're in a relatively dry region. That's northern Peru, arid coastal belt, similar to California, just more close to the equator. And there is niches here. There is short, small valleys, very steep, very high up, with little rainfall, but just enough in those creeks, in those niches, to have high grown hard bean coffee and a lot of typica. So this is what we grow and harvest here in the north of Peru. That's the coffee you are purchasing, buying from us. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a great segue. So, a lot of our producers, we work what we believe to be the best coffee producers in the world. One of the things that I really love about your practices is you really don't overcomplicate the basics, the things that make really great coffee. And with our coffee from Peru that Augusta produces for us and her family and friends, it's very simple. It's more of a less is more attitude. And I find with you, Jan, and knowing you for years, you make a lot of investments in making better production and doing different things, but it's more on the technology side of things. Whereas a lot of roasters are experimenting with different means of fermentation. And I don't want to say overcomplicated things. Sometimes I really appreciate every aspect of coffee. But with the coffees that come out of Peru, it's very simple. It's using great varietals, very old rootstocks. So talk to us a little bit about what makes the coffee from Calaya and the other areas so unique in its simplicity.
Well, Kolaya, or the whole Mamahuaca region, which is that mountain range region here in up our slopes. Yeah, as you said, it starts with old rootstock, which we call Café Nacional, which is actually old Typica varieties, more than 40 years old. Those bushes yield relatively low output per hectare. They have 15 to 20 bags per hectare per year, compared to Catimors or Caturas or more modern hybrids, or Costa Rica 95 or Gran Colombia, which are all Catura, Catimor based varieties, hybrids. They will yield 40, 50, 60 bags per hectare per year. And those Typica old rootstock, old trees, even if we prune them and treat them nicely with compost and all the traditional organic culture, we don't get more than 20 bags per hectare in a good case. These are all small farms, have 1 acre, 2 acres, US speaking dimensions, maybe 1.5 acres. That will be a large farm, large family farm. Very basic, as you said. And then the harvesting process is, of course, selective. It's one by one with lots of care, only ripe cherries with lots of love and and good vibes. And then every family will go into the community wet processing, which there are 2 or 3 of them. So 20 farmers will use this one, another 20, 30 farmers will use that community pulping and fermenting tanks that we built for them or built together with them in an improved manner. And fermentation takes quite a while up there at those altitudes. You can ferment 12 hours, 14 hours sometimes. And then even during the hulling or the pulping and fermentation process and washing of the coffee, beans are picked one by one. They dried on stones and small patios, little really small processing facilities. Every farmer becoming a pro. Every family speaking, actually, it's the whole family participates in this work. Children go to school here. We have a school system that works. Lately it's virtual, but normally everyone goes to school here. So we're not talking about children labor here. We're talking about the family as a whole. Holistic thinking participates in this job of giving care to their farm, and the coffee is their cash income. There are multiple product farms. The other things they grow are for self-consumption, such as corn, beans, some bananas. So they are self-sustained, and the coffee will give their cash income for other things. That's the part of the work that is being done on the farm at farm level. After that, they collect this coffee in parchment, already sun-dried, as I said, on patios, on hot stones. And this coffee comes down to the milling facility, which is a dry process, as you heard about. And that's where we prepare the coffee, meaning we hull the coffee, we grade, we cup, we quality control. Of course, there are a couple of stages of quality control, from arrival, income during processing and after processing, and then we bag it and we ship it to you. So that's the flow of production that we make for your coffee.
Let's talk about projects that we have going on with the producers up on the farms. Where are we at with everything with COVID, with any of the new projects? I know when Peter and I visited you last year, we were working on some irrigation projects. What do you got there? Some solar.
Well, it's a solar panel. I'm using this to power the device here to speak to you. So it's lately, COVID times are being hard. Have been very hard on us in Peru. We are the world #1 country. We're at least we're leading on something on deaths per million or something. So up Peru. Yeah, but this situation has forced us to really speed up in all the alternatives of communication and energy and stuff. So I mean, on our farm and my family, we started with solar power back in the late 70s. We had the first solar panels arriving into this country. This was a Siemens Arco, actually Siemens built in California. It was one of the first solar panels for a house for energy powering, and polycrystalline cells. But anyways, those panels back in those times, they would cost like $2,000 a little panel of 55 watts. So you would need like four of them to have a couple of flash bulbs in your house. Today it costs 40 times less, and we're having this all over now. It's great Chinese product with German and American technology. And well, this is a little one just for powering up, cameras and stuff. And this is how I get my power out here in the nothing, where we are not connected to the grid. And it works. Yeah. So we are actually moving very fast forward in Peru with all this communication technology and access in rural areas, in remote areas, also for business. We are installing live cameras in the production places, as you see here. We're in the middle of a composting area. This is where we do our composting pods. You can see the pod back there, and passion fruit to this side. This is passion fruit, and in the back it would be bananas, and over there are mangoes, and coffee's up the hill. So we're putting all these webcams, and we change locations so the client or the certifiers or any interested person can click in and see in different times of the week or of the month, the same spot, how the plant is developing, how the beans are growing, how it is flowering, etc., and harvesting goes on. So that's the idea. And regarding certifications, regarding traceability and innocuity, this is also very important. As you know, we undergo these yearly inspections all over on the organic farming. And we are not only organic farmers, we are organic, biodynamic, and the multiple other choices of standards and certifications. And to keep up this work, this standards given by the USDA NOP or by the EU Commission, you need to have your yearly audits, on-site audits, and you have to have the group certification and internal control systems, and everything normally was, of course, presential. So people would come, the external auditor will come, you pay for that, and that's quite a machinery. And to keep this updated, we are doing virtual online live audits through this webcam and the different tools we have developed. Especially, it sounds like rocket science, but actually, it for us there's another background, another meaning for this, Adam. Since we don't have energy all over. The grid goes along the main Pan American Highway, and then there's nothing out there. There's no power. You need to produce your own power. That starts with it. And the cell phones some places we don't have coverage for miles and miles and miles, just no coverage. And then maybe you have a little spot with 2G, and then one has 3G and the other one has 4G. And you change antennas, you change providers all the time. So this is not so easy as in the US or even in other parts of Latin America. This is very difficult here. You have steep mountains, high temperatures, and so but we have a lot of sun. So this is a place, one of the places in Latin America where we can really rely on solar panels, on solar power, and we have to work. We are working very much on this now. We have taken up another speed on this. So yeah, we, as I said, we had experience. We have more than 30 years of experience with solar power, but that was only on our private range, and then with very expensive supplies. But now this is easing, and I think this is a great step forward to connect. You are not going to be able to travel here that easy. It's easing a little bit now, but it's still very complicated
Are
and
you
a
are
lot
you
of
making are you
restrictions.
making this investment so that people like myself don't come and visit you anymore? Is that what you're trying?
Exactly. So exactly. So you don't come and bother us. No, no. The idea is to keep
Absolutely.
you connected. And I wish you could come, and Peter, and you did so many good things. You brought so many good ideas to us, and encourage us to think out of the box sometimes, and then try new things. And not only that, it's when you come, you have you have these experiences we cannot pass over just with photos and videos. Even with live cams, it's not the same thing as when you come and you see the body language, and you taste the same food we eat, and enjoy this environment. These are life experiences. You know what I'm talking about, when you go out there up to
Absolutely.
12,000 feet and sleep in a mud cottage, and come down here, and you come for coffee, and you are forced to understand organic passion fruit. So this is this is what's about traveling. I hope you can come soon. But in the meantime, we are gonna uh, keep you alive with also for Augusta and friends. They will need to see you. They need to hear you. They can see a picture of you. That's the same. Pictures don't mean much to them. They
Well,
wanna they
it,
wanna
it
hear you.
it's interesting, because I think it was Peter that mentioned this. All the years that we've been coming down to Peru and we take pictures of Augusta and everyone. Every year, their smile gets bigger and bigger, and it shows the trust that you build over time, and it's really something that's special, and we love about Peru. Um,
Exactly.
Talk to me a little about, so we're trying to expand our viewers beyond coffee. So I love the fact that you do tropical fruits. Give some insight into, I know you're an advocate of organic products, but is there really a difference between all organic products? Is organic always better from a flavor standpoint? Are there different products like bananas that have a thicker skin on them? I know that you produce mangoes, avocados, dragon fruit, star fruit, um, pretty much every
Passion.
tropical, passion fruit, every tropical under the sun. Talk to us about organic, the truths. Give us something that is a misconception, especially to American consumers, about organic. What kind of light can you shed on organic as a whole?
Well, talk about produce and coffee. We're not talking about dairy or animal husbandry or meat. We're talking about produce, fresh produce, and coffee and cacao that go along with coffee. Growing organic, in at least in our environment here, with lots of sun, lots of clean water from the Andes, and very clean soil, unpolluted soil, because we have no industry around, we have no chemicals around, but basically there's no industry that will bring along those things. So actually, growing organic in a clean environment, micro and macro environment, with plenty and enough good water and very low density of population, will give you the same or even better quality product. And end of the day, that's the myth that growing organic has much lower yields and the quality is lousier. Well, I don't know. It depends where. It depends on which country. Maybe in Europe, in the US, yeah, maybe, but not here. If we do things properly, and if we have, provided we have a market, provided we have a place where we can sell our goods, not for an immense higher price, but just we have a continuous market that pays a decent price, or and that covers our costs and gives us a little margin, we can almost get to the same yields than and of course quality as conventional growers. We're not talking about massive, extensive like soy production or or corn or stuff like this that really conventionally and fully technified goes up the sky, goes 3-4 times more per hectare or per acre. But we're talking about fruit, produce, basically fruit, tropical fruit. If you do things right, like our bananas, we have yields similar to conventionals. Mangoes the same. We're like 30 tons per hectare. For people who know about agriculture, that's very high. Or avocados. Avocados not really. That's a plant that is very difficult in harsh weather conditions. But mangoes, passion fruit, bananas, we have the same yields as conventionals. And in organic, we have also almost the same yields, provided you have enough water and enough supplies, like organic fertilizer and enough compost. You have the same yields like conventionals, because it's a matter of the culture itself. It's not that much a matter of varieties. It matters how often and how much dedicated you are on your farm. If you're pruning properly, if you're taking care of the soil, if you're managing your compost and stuff. Actually, soil management is the A and Z of the story, in both in coffee and in tropical fruit. Soil management, and again, soil management. You prevent most of the diseases and pest controls and stuff. You start working with your soil. You improve your soil. Microbiology in the soil is the main support for having less impact of pests. This is what we found out by trial and error, besides what stands in the books and the literature. There's plenty of books around, and codes and protocols of how to farm organically. Everyone is a genius, academic genius, and writing books about how this should be done and the other. But in bottom line is trial and error. Every region is different. Every microclimate has its own pros and cons, and you need to find out. And again, soil management and soil management. It's all around adding the proper compost to your soil, and then the plant's going to be happy, and you're going to have returns. That's a long-term planning. Everything is long. Everything is 5 years, 10 years planning. You can't plan for a year. This is no cash crop. This is continuous thing. This is a machinery. It's a live machine, a live machine. So very sort of long-term planning. Everything. The cycles are long.
So, I mean, that's kind of the thing when I said you keep things simple, but where you're able to add the advancements that our other coffee producers can't, is that you produce all this other agricultural products, and most of our coffee producers just produce coffee. And so I think a lot of the technological and agricultural advances that you make are from that standpoint, and it's really awesome. I love it.
I think the advantages in our case, in Pronatur and the co-ops we founded and managed, the coffee growers in our group are benefiting from the technological, organic advances and developments that we do on these tropical fruit areas. The trial and errors we do on soil management on the tropical fruit are of benefit of the coffee farmers that will pick up those acknowledgements, some of those highlights, and adapt them and apply them on the coffee farm. This is something that is very valuable. Yes, definitely. Agricultural training, capacity building, transfer from developed technified fruit agriculture into coffee farming. This is what drives our coffee farmers into better yields and better income in the end.
Bananas produce year round, so that's your cash crop. That's your year round producer. Tell us when we start seeing your different fruit products hit the U.S. I know you ship mostly to Europe, but when is harvest season for avocados in Peru, mangoes, and anything else you're exporting?
Coffee, we are all year round.
And that's because
The
of the
main,
different microclimates that you're picking
yes,
from.
exactly. We go from medium altitudes to high altitudes, and different microclimates, either on the western side of the Andes or the eastern side of the Andes. So these are two climates and different altitudes and different soils. This allows you to have harvestings that are happening right now. The main harvesting season is from June to September, but from October to May, we're still harvesting in those micro areas, and we consolidate here and then another container, another container. This takes us the year round on coffee. On fruit, we have bananas. Bananas are all year long. This bananas will just grow permanently, 12 months, 52 weeks a year. We harvest and we ship containers of bananas. So this is a classic organic banana. See
That's
here.
your Cavendish.
Yeah, this is the Cavendish. This is the banana you have on the shelf, right? This, you go to Whole Foods, you will find this banana. You go to Cove, Switzerland, you'll find this banana. This is a organic. This is a tree ripe banana. This was ripened on the tree. You can see some little scars and stuff. This is what people don't want. On the retailer doesn't want this little black scars and stuff. They say ugly, but this is really tasty and good bananas.
Yeah,
So this is
I'm spoiled.
all year round. Yeah, you're spoiled. It's like a phone, you see. So, and mangoes will start. I'm gonna put it here. Mangoes will start coming in November. We start harvesting in November. The first mangoes, we start shipping end of November, December, so they will hit the market by Christmas and before Christmas, and be on the market, on your markets, until March. And then we continue with avocados, which we start harvesting in February, March, and shipping and arriving in April. And passion fruit is something that goes like bananas round the clock. Passion fruit is on that side over there. These are the passion fruit vines. And if I take this camera and just go walking, we're going to go quickly to the passion fruits. You can see this is something about agriculture. So you can see the passion fruit vines here. You can see that? These are the vines there. And you can see this plants here. This is polycropping. We have this leguminous plants here. They fix nitrogen in the soil here. See, and this is the passion fruit. This is beans, a sort of crotalaria. This is very, very good soil improver. This is grown along the vine here, so it fixes nitrogen in the soil, and the passion fruit vine eats from that. And this is the fruit. So this would be a passion fruit here. It grows here. This is the passion fruit. The yellow. There's a purple one and the yellow one. We grow the yellow one, same as in Brazil. And this goes to the local market. We export very little of this into the fresh market to Europe, very little. But most of this goes into the factory. We have a juice factory that's over there. And that juice factory takes some 2,000-3,000 tons per year of this. We all deliver to our factory. And this is the passion fruit concentrate you will have in your multivitamin drink or something. Wherever you see passion, mango passion, whatever, they use concentrate or juice, single strength juice that is made out of this passion fruit here. So that hits your market, and that's what you are consuming. So this is mangoes here. And we just on this side here, you can see the first mangoes growing. The blossom started, the flowering started 2 months ago, and these are the first mangoes here. See them here?
Really cool. So
these are the first mangoes.
Talk about
the first mangoes. And this is the mango flower. You see? This is the mango flower here. Mango flowers are like this. This is the flower.
Any similar aromatics? Do they smell like similar to like the aromatics?
Oh, yeah. No, they don't smell like. They don't have this jasmine taste, smell, the scent. They don't have the jasmine scent. They have a sweet, profound, a sweet, rather heavy smell. Sweet, heavy. People with an allergy might might start sneezing a little bit. How we call that?
Yeah.
Allergy. Yeah.
So real quick on biodynamics, what is your honest opinion of it? I know it's a very big phrase that's thrown around in the wine world. We have friends in the wine industry, but you guys have the same thing going on down there. Have you seen biodynamics? Have you always seen it improve the quality of the product? Like, what are the pros and the cons?
No, nothing to do with quality. Quality will be just the same.
Just
That
the
would be a
same.
myth. The
Okay.
quality, yeah, quality is not given by biodynamic or not. Biodynamic is Demeter brand, which is the leading biodynamic brand, or almost a monopoly. This farm is biodynamic certified. Biodynamic would be more an approach or a scheme. It is a scheme more for sustainability, soil quality, of course, soil quality, plant health quality, and sustainable long-term productivity of your farm. But it's not going to change the quality inside. It's going to be the same. Most of the things around biodynamic agriculture are around soil again. So the proper composting supposed to be better for the environment, better for the human being and for the animals. The idea of biodynamic is that you ultimately become self-sufficient in your supplies. And this is a challenge. Today it's a challenge, definitely. If you want to be self-sufficient, your scale is limited. So, in other words, if I want to have this farm to be self-sufficient on nitrogen, to create the nitrogen my plants need to yield a fruit like this, I would need to have around 150 sheep or 200 sheep or goats. So I have more or less 300 animals, and then we collect the dung where they go and sleep, and then we use it for our compost. We do dynamic farming as a principle of farm sustainability, environmental sustainability, and self-sufficiency, polycropping. I'm going to show you a biodynamic composting way that you haven't. For people that know farms in the U.S., organic farms, they have never seen this way of composting, because in the U.S. or in Europe, the composts are actually under the shade and in round pits, and not in rows. Like you can see the row here.
Yeah.
Okay, this is covered with dry banana leaves in order to prevent the moisture going up to the air. And there's a drip line under the leaves, and then we pull every 3 weeks. We pull those leaves aside, and then comes a tractor with a turner with a rotavator, and the drip line gets away, and then we rotate. We turn this. We turn this by machine. That's why it's in a row. And then we add the banana remainings, the passion fruit shells, the green cuts and stuff. We add in there, and some animal dung, and then we turn it. It takes 2 to 3 months until it finishes fermenting and cools down, and then it's ready to apply to the plants. So we pull away the dry banana leaves. Pull away the dry banana leaves. Can you see a drip line?
Yep.
Yeah, this is the drip line that is guaranteeing the right humidity in here.
So that keeps the moisture in.
That keeps the moisture in. And if you dig in here, this is already 2 months. It's still warm. It's still hot in here. If I go deeper, I start burning my hand. But this is almost ready to go to your garden pot. This is no dung anymore. This is pure compost, the best value compost you can have. If you grow plants only on this, you will have super yield. But if I want to have the 100 acres only growing on this, I would need like 100 times more of this sort of rows here. So that's something that you cannot pay for today. I hope in the future we can. You see,
Well,
this is soil. This is soil.
Well, these videos are great, but it definitely doesn't do justice over being at the farm and tasting the actual product. And I guess that's why it's always hard to find bananas as good as down on the farm.
Definitely.
One last question. So a few friends, and this is more going into the finance side of things and trading. Uh, I've been hearing a lot of people concerned about agricultural squeezes, especially in coffee for 2021. Everyone that I'm talking to, all of our producers are having record years this year for production. Really good quality product. What are you seeing? Are you seeing that production is lower? I know that there was concerns in the beginning of COVID, getting people up to the farms to harvest the coffee. But I mean, in Peru, I mean, those villagers, they pretty much live up there, and that's their life, and that's what we're finding even in Brazil and other places in Ethiopia. What are you seeing? What are your concerns for 2021 with agriculture? Focus on coffee, but tell me about agriculture as a whole.
Well, one thing is coffee culture, and the other one is general other agriculture. I mean, in our country, talking about Peru, coffee culture or coffee agriculture is very special here because we are far away with the coffee farms, far away from the infrastructure, the public infrastructure, and things you need to be more efficient, right? Like power, road access, etc. You know that. So Peru is a typical classic case of small farming, rural, really distant and difficult conditions coffee farming. But in general, through COVID, I wouldn't say COVID has brought more yields, but the difficulties in coffee were, of course, exactly when the main areas of Peru started harvesting. Farmers couldn't move from their farm to the village or to the first collection center. They were not allowed to move out of their communities and bring their coffee to the collection center, and ergo bring the coffee down to the mill for hulling. So there was a delay in output in coming out of the farms. But since they are all small farmers, everybody was keeping the coffee in proper conditions and nicely and dry in parchment in their houses, and then afterwards it came. Now the thing is, there was a lack of people people coming to work and to help on the coffee farms because communities wouldn't allow people to go in and out. So don't forget, we had a complete shutdown and of everything, and it's starting to ease now after half a year. We're still not allowed to go out on Sundays and stuff. So anyways, the productivity has to do more with the weather, if there was enough rainfall or not. And what I can say in the end is that due to COVID, there was a more dedicated farming practice throughout all the farms and the communities we can see. Due to COVID, the family farm was actually became more a family farm than before because everybody was just staying there, coming to the rural areas, to the countryside. The ones that were allowed were able to move out of the cities or the villages and go into the farm and live at the farmhouse. They did. So there was more dedication of hands-on farming by the family members during COVID time until today. So this maybe has allowed the farms to be more productive and have a better output than the year before. Just the dedication of the family members at family farm level. This doesn't speak for the larger scale farming. Definitely, they had big problems because the workforce of a large farm needing 500 plus workers or 1,000 workers, buses full of workers for picking, buses full of workers for harvesting, and especially in the fruit sector. That was a real problem because that was where COVID was moving forward very, very fast, and then they had to shut down operations, and they had real lots of dropouts and stuff. So, but on family farm level, I think the dedicated, by force dedicated activity of the family members has allowed to have better yields and maybe some better quality because taking personal care of your produce.
Awesome. So everybody that's viewing this video, I appreciate everything, Jan, you've done. I know you and I stay in close communication off podcast. I've been seeing what you've been doing over the past few weeks, in addition to what we spoke of for the farmers, giving flu shots and setting up tents for medical assistance. Um, I hope that this video is a little bit of insight into our passions and what we do. Of course, it goes much deeper than that. But thank you so much for your time. It's not as good as being at the farm, but we'll get back to that again soon. And thank you very much for everything.
Most welcome, Adam. That's great to have you around like this in this way, and let's keep on doing this once in a while, man. These are COVID times, man, and I think we have the tools. We just need to go out there and find them and install them, and keep this way of electronical connection just better than nothing, better than just staying at home.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Jan. Have a good one. Stay safe.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.